In the midst of a national crisis in race relations, a new CNBC Change research survey of battleground state voters shows how black and white communities are living two very different experiences. And Steve Liesman joins us now with more. Hey, Steve.
Good morning, Joe. Yeah, the data that we found supports other data out there from, say, the BLS and the CDC that black and white communities are experiencing very different outcomes when it comes to both the economy and the coronavirus crisis. Looking at the data, judging the state of the economy, 28% nationally view the economy as excellent or good. And that is the same sort of numbers for Hispanics and white Americans, but just 5% of African Americans judge the state of the economy as excellent or good. 94% see it as not so good or poor. On the outlook, just 16% of African Americans are very confident or somewhat confident in the economy in the next year. And that's dramatically different, as you can see there, from both the national data we have and from Hispanics and whites as well. Part of this seems linked to experiences with the coronavirus. Looking at their concerns about it, 92% of African Americans are concerned about the virus compared to 69% nationally, 78% for Hispanics, and 64% for whites. And that seems to stem, at least in part, from personal experiences with the coronavirus, which again are different when it comes to minority communities. 61% of African Americans report that they themselves or they know somebody close to them who was diagnosed with the coronavirus, and that's 50% nationally, 53% for Hispanics, and 48% for whites. A lot of different reasons for this that I've read in the health literature out there. There are comorbidities, as you know, Joe. Living conditions are another issue. Poverty, access to health care is another one. But one thing I found striking, guys, when I looked at, there's a New York City comptroller report that shows 75% of frontline workers were people of color. And you can imagine how that changes the experience with the coronavirus, both going to work and then coming home and the possibility of exposure there. So this really backed up in data showing that African-American unemployment has risen more in this crisis. And again, both the death rates and the infection rates are higher in minority communities. And we'll see, Joe, if this ends up informing policy and economic policy in addressing some of the economics of this crisis that we're in right now.